Mr. President,
the governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24/7. We've been working, my office, our Division of Emergency Management, helping people prepare for Hurricane Helene, helping effectuate rescues of people after Hurricane Helene, helping people pick up the pieces of their lives after Helene, and then have to also turn around and prepare for major impacts and maybe even more impacts from Hurricane Milton. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me. But I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this. I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Madam Vice President, Milton's arrival, what does it mean for resources?
You know what I can say, Jim? I can say that 13,099 murderers were let into this country, 16,000 rapists, 425,000 people in the last 4 years have been let into this country by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's own Customs and Border Protection that are running
Corey,
around this country, Jim.
The other thing, too, it's Kamala Harris.
Crimes.
I don't know. Why do you guys say Kamala? That is, it's Kamala Harris.
Jim, we know that they're committing crimes against Americans. Why can't these individuals talk about the individuals who've been killed by illegal immigrants? 13,099 murderers have been let into this country by this administration's own accounting, and you guys don't want to talk about it.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
you are intending that I am
Your disrespect of Kamala Harris is part and parcel of a tradition. Disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman. Why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25 years ago,
they care for your babies.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Let me
actually pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris. If
Kamala.
You said
we don't call you Nancy Manchin.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect
and walked that stage 25 years ago, she would have said it. She would have taken that achievement away from women. That's
let me get in here. Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
Yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
He did say it.
Okay, well, as a woman, I want to weigh in.
She turned black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. Now she was Indian, all he knew. Now she turned black.
Well, she's a mixed race, She's a mixed race.
He said that to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Right.
He went to, and he said at the same event where he said he'd done more for black people than any president in history.
I guess here's the thing.
When he was president, wages for women were better than they've been in a long time. Wages for blacks were better than they've been in a long time.
The lowest black unemployment rate in history. It happened under Joe Biden.
He did a lot of good.
Let me just finish this to both of you.
From all walks of the
country. This doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see
He said that she turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say. That's out of bounds. Can you say that?
I mean, I didn't say it, and I would not say it.
Just say yes.
We
are connected to your inability to pronounce her name.
We are out of time.
It's a very.
We are out of time.
It's a cult. They won't say anything that goes against the cult. Yes, you are. You are a cult member.
Are you kidding me?
It's a cult. If you won't speak out against the cult member, you're a cult. The cult leader is Donald Trump.
We are out of time at the table.
The fact that you talk to women this way is ridiculous.
You just talked about a black woman that way.
In what way?
Thank you for being here at the table. Thank you for watching at home. No time for nightcaps tonight. Laura Coates live.
And this is a Fox News alert. Florida is once again bracing for another massive storm. Hurricane Milton is currently a Category 5 hurricane barreling across the Gulf of Mexico right towards the Florida Peninsula on the east coast of Florida. And hurricane warnings have been issued for the entire Tampa area. Evacuations have been issued. It has a population of 3.3 million people, along with neighboring metros of Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Sarasota, even inland Orlando, where another 3 million people live. This is a fast-evolving, extremely dangerous situation. They're especially worried about swells of up to 20 feet, but the state of Florida, as usual, is well prepared. Now, you can't say the same about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Now, they have been MIA in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, but especially in North Carolina. Now, today, Kamala tried to insinuate that Governor DeSantis does not want federal help. Well, Governor DeSantis said he didn't even know she called. That is according to Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas. FEMA, he's saying they're bankrupt. According to FEMA's own website, over $1 billion went to Harris, Biden, unvetted illegal immigrants. And this week, she is focused on fawning interviews, as I've been telling you, with the Call Me Daddy podcast, Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, and the ladies of The View, instead of being in North Carolina, which she and Joe abandoned. It is the worst hurricane to hit the Southeast since Katrina, and they have been missing in action. They haven't lifted a finger to help, and now suddenly she's pretending to care and says this. Take a look.
NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Make no mistake, Hurricane Helene is Kamala's Katrina. Joining us now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is with us on the latest on preparation. All right. I saw the statement from your office. Number one, you did not hear about a call from Kamala. You would have taken the call, you said. I had you on my radio and TV show before Helene hit. You told me, and I had Governor Kemp on, and he told me, in your case, you had 30,000 utility trucks staged to go in right after the hurricane. You had food, water, medicine, supplies ready to go right in behind the hurricane. As usual, I'm assuming you have the same thing for Milton. Am I wrong, Governor?
No, you're right. And Hurricane Helene was a Category 4 storm. It did significant damage to the state of Florida. We've been on this footing now for 2 weeks straight in terms of preparation response. And now we have an even bigger storm that's bearing down, as you pointed out, on a very populated area, potentially could do even more damage. And we've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
You know, you had properly staged. You are ready for Milton. You have all the utility trucks. You have food. You have water. You have supplies, all staged, all ready to come in right behind the hurricane, as you always do. Governor Kemp, same thing. Governor McMaster, same thing. They have been missing in action. It took FEMA nearly an entire week to get to the people in North Carolina, and we still don't know the death count in North Carolina. It is the worst, to me, response ever in the history of hurricanes in this country, Governor. And for her to be going on a Stern, Colbert, The View, Call Me Daddy, instead of being in North Carolina is unconscionable.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sean. We're going to handle this incoming storm. It is right now much more powerful than what Helene was. And we'll see. They say it's going to weaken before it hits, but we can't assume that. So this has the potential to be one of the most damaging storms in the history of our country. And can we not just focus on the livelihoods and the well-being of the people? Why is she trying to politicize this? Why is she putting her campaign ahead of the well-being of the people of Florida? We're laser focused on their well-being. This is going to be a massive effort. There's going to be things we're going to have to respond to that we've probably never had to respond in this kind in the history of our state. And we're going to do it. And we're going to keep our eye on the ball. And we're not going to let her nonsense distract us from the task at hand.
Governor, as a fellow Floridian, if there's anything I can do to help you, if you need these airwaves, you need my radio show, we are on board for anything you need. I am urging people to go to SamaritansPurse.org. They're doing some really good work in all of these southern states. And we appreciate you being on, Governor. We're praying for our state tonight. Thank you.
People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.